Hi, I'm Dr. Amy Doneen. I'm the co-founder of the BaleDoneen method. I am getting a lot of calls this week regarding the very tragic death of Mr. Luke Perry, who at the age of 52 died this weekend of a stroke. I want to say that I do not know if Mr. Perry's stroke was ischemic, meaning caused from a blood clot, or if his stroke was caused by an aneurysm. I do not know that. I do not know Mr. Perry's medical history, nor am I part of his medical team. I do want to use this opportunity to educate the community, however, about what we do know. The questions I'm getting are people are saying, gosh, if it could happen to him at 52 years old, perhaps it could happen to me. And if that indeed is the case, what can I do about it to find out if I might be at risk? First, let's start with a very simplistic explanation of what causes most strokes, meaning ischemic strokes. Over 85% of strokes are caused by a blood clot. So what happens over time, usually sometimes decades before someone has an event, is plaque grows silently in the wall of the artery. So if you think of a garden hose and you think of where water flows, that's not where plaque presents itself. Plaque actually presents itself hiding in the wall of that garden hose. So in order to find out the very earliest stages of plaque, we need to appreciate technology that looks at the wall of that garden hose. One test that we use regularly, and we've used it for 18 years now, it's called a carotid intima media thickness test. It's very simple, it's painless, it's reproducible, and it's very cost effective. And basically an ultrasound is done of the carotid arteries. These are the arteries of the neck. With the arteries of the neck, we also have knowledge to say if it's going on here. It's usually going on in the heart and the brain and everywhere in our body. So we use these as a window peek into the thousands of miles of vessels in our body. The carotid IMT test does something different than a duplex scan, which is done when someone is perceived to have a blockage, or even a company like Lifeline Screen does a carotid duplex, a modified test, to look at the amount of blood flow, or if you think about that garden hose analogy, how much water is flowing through the garden hose. What we want to know is if there is any plaque development in the wall of that artery. I did read that Mr. Luke Perry's father died of a massive heart attack in 1980, which meant Mr. Perry was probably only 12 or 13 years old. What we can learn by that is usually when we have a parent who dies young of a tragic heart attack, that we're usually dealing with some sort of genetic predisposition for the early development of disease. What we do also know is that this disease can be identified. We can identify why someone has the disease rather, and if we treat the why, we can see the inflammation go down and we can see the disease stabilize. So I wanted to articulate this point to bring hope to everybody. There's testing available, we just need to be educated and ask our providers about it. The sad thing is we live in a world in standard of care medicine of a world in haves and have-nots. It's a binary system. So we have divisions. We have primary prevention, meaning people like Luke Perry would have been in primary prevention on Wednesday. However, he would have been placed in secondary prevention on Thursday when he had his stroke. So what we want to know is those who've not had an ischemic stroke or a heart attack yet, how many of those people are walking around with hidden plaque in the arteries? That's the bottom line question. So I want to advocate for people to ask about carotid intima media thickness testing. Talk to your providers about it. Oftentimes they may say, well, your insurance doesn't cover it. And while that might be true, it doesn't devalue the impact of getting the test done. I would have loved to have had Mr. Perry in my practice and have gotten an IMT in his 30s. In his 40s, to find the early change of plaque development in that artery wall. When we find it early, we ask ourselves why, and we do some simplistic testing to figure out why. We monitor the inflammation, and by treating the why, we see the inflammation stabilize and see that disease stabilize as well. So with due respect to the incredible tragedy that has happened with Luke Perry dying of an ischemic stroke at age 52. I want to take this opportunity very humbly to say we can find out if we have plaque in the artery wall. And this is not anyone's fault if they've not had the testing done, but I want to say our best tool we can use is get educated. So I want to say we are here. The BaleDoneen method is here. Our book is available to you on Amazon. It's called Beat the Heart Attack Gene. I should show you what it looks like. I have one here. Beat the Heart Attack Gene. And in our book, we really spend time talking about this technology and that it is available for you. Do not let the insurance company become your scientific filter of what has merit or not. Get educated and ask for the test. The test is less than $200. Whereas the insurance companies pay for the end stage effects of the stroke, the thousands and thousands of dollars and the loss of life will be paid for. But just because they won't pay for the preventative test to find out if you have plaque in the arteries doesn't mean it's not important to ask for it. So please reach out, please get yourself educated, and with sincere humility, I offer Mr. Luke Perry's family and friends utmost respect and condolences. In good health, I'm signing off, Amy Doneen.